right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live. Couch Coaches, we are back here on another Tuesday. We here. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man?
Yeah,
So
what's
many
going on?
topics. So many topics. You think one thing, oh, he gonna talk about this. Then out the blue. you know.
Yeah,
How was
yeah.
how was your weekend though, man? Like
It was
it it,
cool.
it it was a lot of stuff that happened this weekend, man. That was
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff did go down this weekend. Unfortunately,
Right.
but yeah, man, it's yeah, it was a crazy weekend, especially when it comes to NFL. I mean, yeah, I thought a lot of things I thought we were gonna talk about, but I think the biggest elephant in the room is obviously
Right.
Jon Gruden being let go, and the
Right.
weird thing about it all is it happened during Monday Night Football, which
Yeah.
you really can't make this stuff up. I mean, obviously, and it's we'll get into that where essentially, unless you've been under a rock, Jon Gruden has resigned as the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, and yeah, in a weird situation. I know Friday. I think this was before it was after. I know we went on to do the Watch the Football Guys podcast. This was circling around. Obviously, at that time it was the Morris Smith email at that
hmm
particular time that pretty much got him somewhat in whatever trouble on Friday, and then it pretty much metastasized. It just went to overdraft with the other tweets, not tweets, but the emails. The racist, the homophobic ones, and then the misogynist. Emails that transpired, and then lo and
hmm
behold, that was the dagger for him. So before we get started and get our takes, I had to get my guy. I had to get my up. Now he'll be joining us right here from Spotlight Raiders. What's going on,
okay.
D Hop? What
What's
up?
going on, man? What's going on? Thank y'all for having me. I know this Raider stuff is
Yeah, man.
it's a
I
lot going on, man. It's a lot
yeah, man.
going on.
I thought I won't go hit you up until December when we play y'all in Vegas. But hey, man,
Right.
hey, man, we gotta get you a little early. I thought I was gonna hit you up after Thanksgiving, but
I
it's
know, right?
yeah. So D Hop, man, you gotta what's going on in Raider Nation, man?
I honestly, I'm gonna let the people know, man, because I get a lot of scrutiny about a lot of stuff when it comes to the Raiders. I keep it 100. I keep it real. I let it be known, man. And I was never a Gruden fan. I wasn't a Gruden fan when he first came here. I was not a Gruden fan when he came back in 2018. Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised about him resigning. I knew if we didn't make the playoffs this year, he was going to be gone by the end of the year anyway. Mark Davis was trying to find a way to get out of that contract. That number one, you shouldn't have paid a man $100 million for a guy that has not been successful in so long as a coach. Number one. Number two, um, he's questionable about his free agents. He's questionable about his play calling. He's questionable about drafting. He's just a questionable coach. And now with these emails coming out and me reading like a whole 5-page article about all the stuff that came out, I mean, everybody's right, man. Gruden's a fraud. Plain and simple. He's a fraud. And it's sad that he had to go out the way he had to go out as him resigning, because I didn't want him to resign. I said, get him to the end of the year. See if he can get us to the playoffs or something. And then if he doesn't get us to the playoffs, you let him go. But these emails, once they started coming out yesterday, it was clipped for him. I think he could have kept his job if the rest of the emails didn't come out. So that's my honest opinion on it. The Raiders, man. We're just next year. We just got to look for a coach. We got our assistant coach. He's our special. They put the special teams coach as the interim head coach. Gus Bradley or Greg Olson didn't want that job, from what I'm hearing. It is what it is, man. I'm just ready to play Denver this weekend and get this shit over with. Excuse my language, but
Hey,
to get it over with, man. Gruden just put himself in another rabbit hole, man, all over again.
Yeah, man, I definitely feel you on that. So, Malwa, your thoughts on the fact, well, the resignation of Gruden. Your thoughts?
Right. First of all, I hate no disrespect, but I shouldn't really be saying this, but it feels really good to see coaches have this issue as much as they dog players when they get in trouble. That I'm not even going to front. Like, you're just being a distraction. They're just being a distraction. So we talking of last few weeks has been coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, I didn't have a chance to read the emails. I wanted you to break it down to me. At first, I was on some, Dave Chappelle, like, you know what I mean? Like, what they trying to cancel me for? These are old emails, blah, 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 blah. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? He a changed dude. But then I start, getting ready for the show and looking at stuff. They said, nah, he was a front. He was fake. He'd be one this way, and then he'd go around the corner and be a complete, different person.
Right.
Then I'm like, all these other emails came out, and I'm like, oh yeah, he gotta go. He gotta go.
Yeah, because
Like
he
he even had an opportunity because he knew what he did. Like he even had an opportunity to come out and even when he was like, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not that. He could have put it out there then, like, look, man, in 2011, this and that, the world was different. I was talking to some friends, blah blah blah. And since then, he could have switched it up and did all that, but he didn't. He went on a type of rant and thought that might work, but
it
nah,
was
bro.
Yeah,
it's a list of things. It's the whole
yeah.
Eric Reed situation about the national anthem. He
Um,
talked
Yeah,
about Barack Obama and Joe
right.
Biden. He talked
Yeah,
about women shouldn't be reffing in the
yeah,
NFL.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the topless
yeah,
bikini
in
women in
the
the emails.
yeah.
And
Like
the
I
in
list
said,
goes on and
the
on
right,
about the
right.
Michael
Sam
Sam situation.
situation.
That was
Sam, yeah,
the
Yeah,
quote is Gruden said that he don't they feels like Jeff Fisher shouldn't have drafted a queer
yeah,
in
right.
the
right,
NFL.
right. And that's what I'm right.
And the Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell,
That
yeah.
that should have been
Once I
right.
seen that he dissed Roger Goodell, it was done
That's a
from there.
wrap.
It was done
Right,
then. Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
how did they get all these? If you don't mind me asking, Coach, like how did they get all these emails anyway? Like how did that come about?
Well, it was a part of a Washington football team investigation, and certain parts of the investigation was leaked with the
Hmm.
situation. And obviously, the recipient of those emails Jay Gruden, damn, I said Jay Lloyd, Jon Gruden, our former
Hmm.
head coach Jay, but
Hmm.
John was sending those emails to our former team president Bruce Allen. So he was a
Hmm.
recipient of those emails, and I see your point where it's frustrating. I think it's already bad enough that Gruden is in this predicament, but then it all falls back to us, and it just you're looking at the situation where what's going to be next for the situation. It's bound to have more and more people involved in this, and it's just one
Mhm.
of those things where it's unfortunate, especially between these two teams, the Washington football team and the Las Vegas Raiders,
Right.
blue bloods of the NFL, where you look at your past, I look at just how Al Davis would handle the situation. Like Gruden would have been gone Friday. Like Gruden,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and you see how progressive Al Davis was. And then you look at like in our history, I look at George Allen. George Allen was one of kind of like one of the best coaches besides like as far as Joe Gibbs. He was one of our top coaches that we've ever had in this organization. And then for his son to be in this type of scandal is kind of one of those things where I look at it from a historical standpoint of just like how people who were before them is probably essentially rolling over their grave of what has just transpired in this investigation.
What's crazy about this is that if we like I was on another Raiders content creator YouTube channel last night,
Mm-hmm.
and we was looking at the time frame of when this was going on. Even Jay Gruden was the coach of the Washington football team at the time these emails was going on.
Right.
Correct. It,
So this is it's just bigger than John Gruden. But like I said
Yeah.
before,
yeah.
It is.
whoever gave those emails to the Wall Street Journal was a personal vendetta against Gruden. Somebody hated Gruden so much that they dug up emails from 10 to 12 years ago to get this man going out of Las Vegas. They knew that he was making guaranteed money with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I feel like it was a personal vendetta.
Yep.
It was personal. Whoever had those emails, I don't know if it's from the Washington football team. I don't know if somebody had them or somebody sent them to somebody else, but somebody got paid to have those emails get revealed.
Yeah. Because you think about it, it's a selective part of the investigation.
Right.
Like people keep on saying, well, we need to demand the whole entire investigation as far from the Washington football perspective and dig up Daniel Snyder's emails. I'm telling you, that's not going to happen. And a lot of things will happen in this world before this happened. World hunger will end. World peace will begin. Like before that stuff get leaked out. But like you said, and it kind of just reminded me of like the Rachel Nichols situation where they've been sitting on this and it's waiting on it and it was the perfect timing. And then what I find so weird about all this is it felt so weird yesterday. Yesterday was really like by far like probably one of the most bizarre and strange days. Obviously, simple fact of the firing happened in the middle of Monday Night Football when essentially he was the face of this of this brand for that amount of period of time, and then ESPN investigating a wrongdoing of a former employee. Because it's funny because Rachel Nichols, they were really, really quiet about Rachel Nichols because obviously she's a current employee. But this one is like, I just found it because he sent these emails on their servers. And it's almost like no one, like, I found it really, it's almost like it was inescapable that ESPN had to report this. And I just found it weird, like no one really even bringing up ESPN in this content, because to me, you allowed this as well, and because to me, the whole thing of him not being an NFL employee, but ESPN is somewhat of an employee of the NFL. So I don't understand why people look at it, well, it's almost like he sent it to his regular like Gmail account or this, like as if he wasn't affiliated with the league. He's still affiliated with the league. He's a part of the Monday Night Football brand. The NFL pays ESPN billions of dollars, and he's the face of it. So
he was the main broadcaster on Monday Night Football. He had his own Gruden camp. He had all that stuff ESPN gave him. But what's crazy about it now, looking back at it, if anybody could go back and watch that Raiders Bears game that we lost, 29. If you look at that game, everybody was out of sync. You could tell that this was a distraction and it divided the locker room. It really did. And I really hope now that the cancer is out of the Las Vegas Raiders organization, and hopefully we can move forward from this and focus on Denver and try to make a push. Because even with all this going on, you would think that the Raiders is 0-5 right now. You would think we 3-2 and we're second in the division. And this stuff going on it is a distraction. But I just hope that now we can move forward and get ready for Denver, man, because Gruden is just it's bad. It's even bad to a point. I don't know if y'all saw today, but Tampa Bay took him out the Ring of Honor.
Yes. Yep. They took him off. Yep.
They took him out of the Ring of Honor just because of all of this going down.
Yeah. And that's and that's another thing where we look at this, the whole symbolism of it, where it's like they don't even want to associate themselves with him, going forward. A guy that should have been, like you said, the team, as far as leading them to their first ever Super Bowl, he would be in most organizations be a legend. But due to this, he's gonna, go down for this, unfortunately. So D, I really want to, like, as far as I know, before you head out, what's next for the Raiders? I know, obviously, Rich Bisaccia is going to be obviously the interim head coach. At this point, what do you see this franchise going forward? And then who do you? This is a short list. Who you think should be the new head coach in 2022?
Well, it's really going to come down. Is Mark Davis going to really let Mike Mayock do his job as a GM? That's really the one thing right there, because Mark Davis gave all the power to Jon Gruden. Jon Gruden ran everything from player personnel to being like an assistant GM to Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock really didn't have to do no work the last couple of years he's been here. So
you think they need to get rid of him?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I think Mike Mayock needs to try to turn his team around on his own as a GM. I think Mark Davis needs to give him a chance to go out and get personnel, because that's what we brought him in for. Player personnel. That's where his strength is at. But if you get rid of Mike Mayock, my next candidate is Louis Riddick. Bring in a former Raider that knows football outside of Mike Mayock, and you bring in Louis Riddick. But if Mike Mayock stays, can Mark Davis let Mike Mayock run the day-to-day duties and bring in the right head coach? And my first candidate is Eric Bieniemy. That is my first candidate. Eric Bieniemy is surprisingly, he didn't get a head coaching job all last year, where there was so many coaches needed, so many teams that needed coaches. So Eric Bieniemy is one. The offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, I think his name's DeBoy or something like that.
Brian Daboll.
Yeah, Brian Daboll. I think he's a good one too, that I think he come in and fit the system and help Derek Carr elevate to the quarterback that he's supposed to be. Unlike Jon Gruden is holding Derek Carr back for the last couple of years, but I'll never say more about that. Let me see. It's a few people was talking about earlier today. They was saying Joe Brady, another one over in Carolina. So they my top three, to come in offensive minded. The only thing I'm nervous about now, if you bring in a new coach, we just brought in Gus Bradley this year, man. So it really sucks that Gruden is gone, and now we brought in Gus Bradley, and hopefully they'll keep Gus Bradley on this staff outside of bringing in a new head coach, because Gus Bradley, if you look at our defense, I mean, it's better than what it was in the last couple of years. Gus Bradley made some changes. I just want him to stay, and he keep his defensive staff to stay, but it's a lot of changes that we have to make. But Eric Bieniemy is my number one as far as a Raiders head coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man.
Shout out to the people, because I shared it on my YouTube. The Raider Nation is coming in, man.
Yeah,
coming in.
Ash Boys. I like that. I love that. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And like you said, it's a great chance for you guys start over and start off fresh with a new regime. Because like you said, Gruden, I mean, we had about four more years left of him. I said, well, no, I mean, no, it ain't even it will be about 6.
Yeah, I think he was in his fourth season.
So he had about 6 years.
About 6 years left on his contract. But since he's resigned, from what I'm hearing, the Raiders don't have to pay him that money since he resigned and didn't get fired.
Yeah.
So the Raiders get to keep that $60 million that we have. Hopefully we could go out and get an offensive line, because our offensive line stinks right now. So hopefully we can use that money to go get an offensive lineman or something of that nature. But yeah, this situation in itself, the NFL saying that they're not showing, they said something about not putting out the emails. They're not showing the emails, but they said it was 650,000 emails. I don't know how you look through 650,000 emails. I just don't know. Sound like a conspiracy to me when it comes to that, because who has that much time in the day to go through 650,000 emails? So it's just a list of things that Gruden really has to figure out. He won't be able to coach again at any level. I think his reputation is done. He can't. And the best thing for him to do, start a podcast. Jon Gruden, just start a damn podcast and get your following that way. Make your money that way, because you're not going to be on any more sports networks. You're not going to be on NFL Network. You definitely can't come back to ESPN now, because you just put ESPN in a bad situation.
Right.
So, Gruden, I don't know what you're going to do from now, because, if you was talking about women topless in bikinis, what's your wife going to say about this now? You might lose your wife too after this. Who knows? So, this Raiders team, looking forward, it's still 12 weeks left in the season. We 3-2.
Yeah.
I mean, we just gotta buckle down and try to win football games and put this behind us as a team.
Yeah. So, tell them where you can find your social media and any upcoming projects.
Well, I do have a call-in show tomorrow, live on the Spotlight Raiders Talk on YouTube. I do call-in shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm always uploading content on the YouTube if it's from my phone or from the laptop, any of that nature.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be, hopefully, me and you could get together when we finally play the football team. You know,
Yeah.
finally when we play, we get that collaboration going.
Yeah.
And hopefully
yeah.
I could get a Denver Broncos YouTuber. I've been trying to find one for months now, and just can't find none, man. Them donkeys is hiding somewhere.
I gotta write them. I gotta get us Denver. I set you up with them.
Yeah, definitely do that because like I always do every Wednesday before the game. I make sure I have at least a team YouTuber or a writer or something of that nature on there to do like a weekly preview. So if y'all want to follow me on Twitter, Spotlight Art and Talk, Facebook Spotlight Raiders Talk, Instagram Spotlight Raiders Talk. Y'all always see me on there. I'm always posting something. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. We do the Watching Football guys on Friday. So December 3rd, I'm a actually chopping you in our schedule on December the 3rd at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time.
We need our payback too from the last time we played y'all. Man. We need our payback.
Yeah, we crushed David.
Y'all killed us with Kirk Cousins, man. Y'all killed me with Cousins
on a Sunday night. On a Sunday night in September. Oh boy. Yeah, I remember that. That was a fun game. But man,
it was a fun game for y'all because we look like shit. So
but yeah, man. All right, D-Hop, appreciate you once again, man. We'll catch up with you December 3rd, bro. We got you.
All right, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. You know, if you need to do some stuff with you, just let me know. Just hit me up.
No doubt. I got you. All right, appreciate
man.
you. All right.
See you later.
All right. Definitely appreciate D-Hop for coming.